The year might be coming to a close, but it seems POCO's not yet done with 2023. In fact, they just launched a new smartphone. Meet the all-new POCO C65, the successor to the POCO C55, which was launched globally last February 2023. Unfortunately, the predecessor of this phone didn't seem to arrive in the country. Now, there are some new changes POCO made to the C65 coming from the C55, and these are upgrades we gladly welcome. But if there's one thing that hasn't changed, it's the affordable price point that we've all come to love from POCO. This phone starts at just 4,999 pesos as part of the early bird promo. But is this latecomer to the budget phone segment something you should consider buying for Christmas? Well, let's find out. What's up guys, Jose here from Yugatech, and join me as we review the all-new POCO C65. Let's start off with the design. The POCO C65 looks great, especially in this blue colorway. Although if this color doesn't vibe with you, it's also available in black and purple. Well, with which one you choose, I leave that to you. As you would expect from a phone of this price point, it's mostly made out of plastic. It's not the premium feeling plastic either, but it does feel quite sturdy. The back panel features a rather minimalist design as compared to the POCO C55. The only thing that stands out here is the camera housing, which features the dual rear camera and the POCO logo, which is right beside it. As with most phones, you can find the volume rocker on the right side, together with the power button that doubles as a fingerprint scanner. At the bottom, you'll find the USB-C port along with the loudspeaker. The dual SIM card slot that also houses the micro SD card slot is found on the left side. Rounding up the features, there's a 3.5mm audio jack at the top. The C65 does feel rather thick and it's quite heavy, weighing in at 192 grams, which I personally like, but some of you might not. But as I mentioned earlier, it is quite thick and it might be a bit bulky near pants, measuring in at 8.09mm. If you're used to smaller phones, you might have to adjust a bit too, since this is quite a big phone. Moving to the display, you get a large 6.74-inch screen with a 90Hz refresh rate. It's only an IPS LCD screen, but surprisingly it's not too bad when it comes to colors. However, don't expect them to be as saturated or vivid, especially if you're used to seeing or owning an AMOLED phone. At the same time, there are rather thick borders all around the display, especially at the bottom. The 90Hz refresh rate might not impress gamers, but it's more than enough if you're just going to be browsing videos or going through social media with this phone. It's quite smooth and there doesn't seem to be any lag, especially with my time using it. The screen isn't the brightest though, so do keep that in mind, which makes it a bit hard to use under direct sunlight. But then again, you do have to set expectations. Despite that, the display is protected by Corning Gorilla Glass. So, it's quite sturdy. POCO also says it's TUV certified for low blue light. So your eyes will thank you when you're using this phone. When watching videos with friends, the loudspeaker is rather decent at best. Thankfully, there is a 3.5mm audio jack if you want to have a better listening experience. Alternatively, you can also pair your favorite Bluetooth earphones or earbuds. Now, going back to the gaming aspect I mentioned earlier, the POCO C65 can handle some light games and even some more intensive games without any issue. It's powered by a MediaTek Helio G85, and depending on the variant, you can choose between 6GB or 8GB of RAM. The 6GB variant is paired with 128GB of storage, while the 8GB of RAM comes with 256GB of storage. If you do need more storage, there is also a dedicated microSD card slot, as I mentioned earlier. Now, what did surprise us with this POCO C65 is that it can even run Genshin Impact. Although I did have to run it in the lowest settings for Genshin Impact, I was able to get some nice gameplay using this phone. However, do note that the phone heats up quite a bit and a lot faster when you're playing Genshin on this. But at least you can play Genshin and you can do your dailies if you need to. With that, you can expect this phone to handle day-to-day tasks such as browsing social media or watching videos without going through any issue whatsoever. In terms of camera, there's a dual rear camera with a 50MP main shooter together with a 2MP macro lens. Decent at best, and in well-lit environments, the photos come out quite sharp. However, if you're a bit OC like me and tend to pixel peep, you'll notice that the sharpness tends to drop towards the edges of the subject and toward the edge of the frame. The colors aren't as vivid or saturated as I expected, but that could also be because of the LCD display of the phone itself. If you're not too OC, you can even upload the photos directly to social media without having to edit them via third-party app like Lightroom or any other. Although, you can use 50 megapixel mode to make the most out of taking photos. In terms of battery life, the POCO C65 features a 5000 mAh battery, which is typical as standard. From my experience, it did last me almost the entire day when I'm using it to browse social media, the net, and as well as watch some videos. But it did drain really fast when I ended up playing games, especially Genshin Impact. So when you do need to recharge, do note that there is no fast charging on this phone, so do keep that in mind. Now, the moment you've been waiting for, the price. The POCO C65 starts at 4,999 pesos for the 6GB plus 128GB variant, while the 8GB plus 256GB variant is priced at 5,999 pesos. However, do note that these prices are part of the early bird promo, and prices will surely go up in the near future. So that's about it for this review of the POCO C65. It's got decent specs, enough to even run Genshin, a decent camera, all for a very affordable price. But what do you think? Is it a budget phone you'll consider this holiday season, or will you pick something else? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video or found it informative, do hit that like button and subscribe to our channel to watch more. Also, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and visit yugatech.com to stay updated with the latest tech news and reviews. Once again, this is Bilse, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Also, happy holidays! So, you might be shopping for this phone